Hello, hello. I am going to give people some time to get on. We are still struggling with the Facebook algorithm. As I told you guys, when I used to go live all the time, we used to get tons of people on here, and now my videos are literally getting like 4 views if I'm lucky, but I'm going to keep at it because the more that I do it, I know that Facebook will start to take the content more seriously and start showing it to more people. So let me first and foremost make sure that I am actually live. If you guys are on here, go ahead and say hello. Remember, I'm using StreamYard to go live. So you just have to grant StreamYard permission so that I can see your name. Otherwise, it'll just show me Facebook user and I won't know who I'm talking to. So let me make sure that this is live and we've got some. Yes, we are good to go. We are actually live. Not sure if I'm going to have any people live with me today because, again, I am just getting butchered by the algorithm. It's my fault, though. I took 6-7 months off from making content, and this is only, let's see here, how many weeks have we done? This is week 3 of having a live piece of content. So I've got quite a ways to go before the content gods start giving me some respect. So if you are here, please say hello. The more that you guys can engage with the post, the more the algorithm is going to like me and it will start showing it to you. I can tell by the low numbers that Facebook is definitely not showing my content around. So I'm super excited for today. So we are going to get started and dive in. For those of you who are not familiar with me, my name is Danae Wolf. I am a financial clarity coach and a profit strategist and virtual CFO, which means I help entrepreneurs understand the money things in their business so that you guys can make smarter operational decisions, really make strategic decisions in your business that are going to help you be as profitable as possible. So I am streaming this live today onto YouTube, onto my Chic CFO business Facebook page, and our private Facebook community, The Profit Factor, and onto my podcast. So let's get started with today's topic. Today's topic is why you need data in order to grow a profitable business. And I know when we hear the word data, a lot of people tend to get a little bit intimidated, but don't worry, I'm going to break this all down for you and really explain to you why you need to understand your numbers in order to have a profitable business. So here's the first thing I really want you to understand. All right. Ooh, there's a little gnat flying around in here. The first thing I really need you to understand is that if you don't know what's going on in your bank account, you don't know what's going on in your business. Now, I know that can be a really tough pill to swallow because I think a lot of times we are working so hard in our businesses, right? We're not working on our businesses, we're working in them, and we're really in the trenches taking grenades. So when somebody comes out and says a statement like that, well, if you don't know what's going on in your bank account, you don't know what's going on in your business, a lot of times people can get defensive because they're like, listen, I don't have time to be checking my bank statements and checking over bookkeeping and looking at that. Like, I am working in my business. I'm swamped. I know exactly what's going on in my business. But here's the thing. Take your guard down, let your defense down, and let me tell you a little bit about my story and why I take this particular topic so seriously. Because it's important for me that you guys know this is not just something I sit on a soapbox and preach, all right? I truly believe that you need to know your data. You need to understand your numbers. You need to know what's going on in your bank account in order to really grasp what's going on in your business. So I started my entrepreneurial journey by opening up a quick service franchise restaurant. All right. And I was in the weeds, guys. I'm talking, I was working 7 days a week. I was working 10, 12-hour days. I mean, I was the epitome of working in my business, but I had no idea what was going on in the bank account. I knew I was broke, but I didn't really know why. And I was too busy with this idea that, well, if I just work harder, if instead of working a 10-hour day, I work a 12-hour day, if I don't work 5 days a week, I work 6 days a week and then 7 days a week. I had it in my mind that I had to work in my business. I had to be there in the restaurant, making the food, serving the food, scrubbing toilets. Okay. This was really where my mindset was, that was how I was going to stop being broke. If I just worked harder, worked more. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs get stuck in that, right? When they know they're broke, right? You guys know that your bank account is being overdrawn. You know that you never have enough money to pay yourself. You lay in bed at night stressed that payroll is going to bounce in the morning, right? Your solution is often, I'm just going to work more. And what happened for me is I actually ended up in a situation where the landlord was evicting me. I had an eviction notice in my hand, and I absolutely had to go to the bank and borrow money. The problem was the bank wanted to see my profit and loss statement, and they wanted to see my balance sheet. And I had literally no idea what those reports were, and I didn't know how to make them. So I Googled it and they said, your bookkeeper would make them, your accountant would make them. So I tried to hire one, and remember, holding an eviction notice in my hand, obviously didn't have the money to hire someone for what would have been a very lengthy cleanup job, because I had absolutely no financial process, organization, no reports at all. So I was unable to obtain a loan, which was going to be my lifeline, right? I needed it in order to stay in my facility, or I was going to get kicked out. I had an eviction notice. So I had to teach myself how to organize my financials and create this report, both reports, the balance sheet and the profit and loss that the bank wanted. So it was not easy. There were a lot of tears shed. There were a lot of books read, a lot of YouTube videos watched, but I did it. I created a profit and loss, and I created a balance sheet. And my entire life, no, my entire world changed, because what happened was I created the reports literally just because I had to, right? The bank was making me. But after seeing how difficult it was to make the reports, I said, well, maybe I can actually get some use out of them besides just checking it off the box on the loan application. So I actually reviewed them, and it was completely mind blowing. I don't know if any of you watching or listening are in the restaurant industry, but my food costs were 56% and my payroll costs were 42%. So even if you're not in that industry, if you do the math of 56 and 42, you could see why I wasn't paying my rent. And once I realized that, it was like the answers to my problems jumped off the page at me. And immediately, by looking at those numbers, I knew exactly what I needed to do. I knew that I had to cut payroll, and I knew that I had to cut my food costs, right? The answers jumped off the paper for me. So what I was able to do was go in and clean up both of those areas, my food costs and my payroll. And all of a sudden, my business was profitable. And here's the best part, and what I really want you guys to understand about my story. I became profitable and I never increased revenue. All right. I will never sit here and promise to be a marketing guru. Okay. I'm not your girl if you want to talk marketing. I can't even figure out the Facebook algorithm to get more than 2 people on this Facebook Live. So it was not that my revenue increased and that's what made me profitable. No, I had the same exact revenue coming through the door, but I was profitable because I organized my financials and read the data. And the data told me that I was spending entirely too much money on my payroll and on my food costs. I cut those costs and boom, the business was profitable. So when I sit here today and talk to you guys about it, I just want you to know that I'm coming from a place of experience. Okay. I tell you guys all the time, I am not a CPA. All right. I did not study this stuff in school. I learned this in the trenches, taking grenades out of necessity. All right. I had an eviction notice in my hand. So I get you on a level that other accountants are not going to. Okay. I'm an entrepreneur, I'm not an accountant. And I'm an entrepreneur whose life was completely changed because I learned how to organize my numbers. I learned how to interpret that data. And that is really what I'm committed to doing. So that's my personal story with how understanding your numbers, understanding your data can completely change your life. So let's talk more about this so you guys can start thinking, ask yourself, hey, if I organized my numbers, if I understood my data, what type of impact would that have on my company and would it have on your life? So one thing that you really need to understand as an entrepreneur is if it doesn't make money, it doesn't make sense. And I don't know how this happened in the entrepreneurial community, but we really have this crisis where it has somehow become a badge of honor, or like you're getting your stripes, or we just accept it as reality that we're supposed to be broke. We just somehow think when you're the owner, you're overworked and underpaid, and that's the price you pay for being an entrepreneur. And we keep going because I believe we've all got this spirit that believes we're just getting our stripes, right? We're paying our dues, and eventually we're gonna get that payday. But what happens is we get so caught up in the day-to-day, right? And now on top of the day-to-day stress of running our business, we're dealing with all of this financial stress, which with time starts to go not just to our businesses having financial stress, but now it starts to come into our personal financials being impacted, because there's only so much that we can keep personally contributing to the business to get the business out of their financial pitfalls before it starts impacting you making your personal car payment, you going on your personal vacation. The two become so intertwined. And I want you to know it's not supposed to be like this. We started our businesses to make money. And if it doesn't make money, it doesn't make sense. And this idea that if you're in it to make money, you're in it for the wrong reasons, they are lying to you. That is some holier than thou guru who is probably charging for his or her time to spit that out to you. All right. So they're not running a nonprofit. You're not running a nonprofit, which means the entire point of your company is to make money. So in order to do that, you have to know what the data is telling you. I speak to entrepreneurs all the time who say, I don't know if I'm making money, but I don't think I am because I can't pay myself. And I say, okay, well, why can't you pay yourself? Well, there's never a lot of money in the bank account. But then they say, and I don't understand how there's not money in the bank account because my sales are through the roof. And a lot of you guys can probably relate to this. And I've got to tell you, bigger revenue doesn't always equal bigger profits. And here's what I really want you to understand about this, because this is a slippery slope. When we are stuck in a situation where we're overworked and we're underpaid in our business, you've heard that saying, right? When emotions are high, intelligence is low. What really happens is you can't see the forest through the trees, right? We are so stuck in the weeds of the day-to-day operations of our business that we are not taking the time to organize our data and review our data and really figure out, well, what the heck is going on? Where is my money going? So instead, we try to throw money at the problem and we chase big revenue. So our job becomes getting client after client after client after client. And all of a sudden, we've got an average monthly revenue of 15,000. And now all of a sudden it's 20,000. And now all of a sudden it's 25,000. And we're like, yeah, we're hitting higher and higher revenues. But wait, why am I still broke? Well, here's what you need to know. If your process is broken, right, bigger revenue isn't going to fix it. So if you are throwing money at the problem and the problem isn't going away, the problem is most likely you. Because if you've got a leak in your boat, it's going to keep sinking no matter how much you keep working harder and faster and getting more efficient at scooping out that water, you're still chasing your tail. So I don't want you to come from a place of believing if I just hustle, right? So many entrepreneurs, we've got this hustle mentality. And I love that because I love that drive. I love that spark. I love that passion. I think it fuels us. But we have to be strategic, right? Passion without strategy is going to get you nowhere very quickly. So you want to make sure that you're not just blindly throwing money at a problem. If you're broke at 20 grand in revenue, you're probably going to continue to be broke at 30 grand in revenue a month because you haven't taken the time to identify the problem. For me, in my personal example, I had 56% going out the door to food costs. Whether my sales were 100,000 a month or $1 million a month, I was going to keep being broke because my process was broken. And that's what I want you guys to understand. You have to know what the numbers are telling you in order to be profitable, in order to be successful, because continuing to chase revenue isn't going to fix the problem. And it actually makes it worse because what does bigger revenues mean? It means more work. So now you've complicated your business, right? You've complicated your operation. It's now becoming bigger and bigger, which means it needs more and more of you, and you're still broke. It is much easier to sit there and understand the numbers. What is the data telling you? Because I've got to tell you, my favorite part about numbers don't lie. They're very black and white. The numbers tell you the story of your company. But the question is, are you reading the book? You need to be aware of this information. If you are overspending on payroll, you're going to continue to do that even if you double your revenue. And if your percentage is out of whack for what you're spending on payroll, it's going to continue to be out of whack, whether you're at 100 grand a month or $1 million. So if you want to be able to work smarter, okay, I'm not talking about working harder. I'm not talking about that hustle mentality. I'm talking about strategizing, okay, making strategic decisions. There is only one way to do that, and that is by looking at the data. When I was stuck in the weeds and I was working in my restaurants, all right, literally making the food, serving the customers, scrubbing the toilets, okay, I was broke. But when I was in my office, reviewing and analyzing my numbers, looking at my data, I was profitable because I had this bird's eye view of what's going on in my business. And that's why I say, if you don't know what's going on in your bank account, you don't know what's going on in your business. And I wholeheartedly believe that. And I know that it is so hard to get out of this hustle mentality because when we as entrepreneurs are broke, our initial instinct is, I'm going to work harder, which means I'm going to work longer hours and I am going to hustle to get sales. but you are funneling more clients into a broken system. So you are going to continue to lose money, but you're going to be working even harder to lose that money because you've now grown your business by adding more and more clients because you tried to throw money at the problem and it didn't work. So take my advice. I have been in your shoes, right? Remember, hashtag not a CPA. I didn't read this in a textbook and now I'm trying to convince you of it. I lived it. All right. This is my experience. I get you. I see you. Believe me, this is going to not only change your business, but it's going to change your life. It can completely alter your world if you take the time to actually interpret and read and analyze what the numbers are telling you about your business. Now, I know this can all be very overwhelming, so I want to tell you the exact steps to take just to get started. So the very first thing I want you to do is set aside time on your calendar. All right. If you guys are like me, if it's not on my calendar, it's not going to happen. So put time on your calendar that just says money meeting, right? And it's with you and your bank. That's it. Your bank account, not somebody who actually works at the bank. I'm saying you're literally going to set aside time to log into your bank account and review what is going on. Log into Stripe and see what was my gross revenue. Okay, I brought in $50,000. That's a lot of money. Where the heck did it go? Log into the bank account and figure it out. Everything you guys need to figure out where your money is coming and going from, you have at your fingertips. You just need to set aside time to review it, right? You need to actually look at it. You can log into your bank account probably from your phone, unless you guys don't know your username and password, in which case, please get LastPass. It's a total game changer. But I want you to log in from your phone, from your iPad, from your computer, or you know what? You might even have your statements that just come in the mail. Open them up and read them and figure out where the money is going, because those answers that you've been searching for, okay, the answers that you lay in bed at night thinking about and having anxiety, those answers are going to pop off the page of your bank statement. Review 2-3 months, and I promise you the impact it's going to have on you will be astronomical. So I hope that this was helpful. I'm going to give you a link here. I'll go ahead and drop it in the comments. And if you're listening on the Profit Factor podcast, we will have it in the show notes. But I've got a free profit plan. It's 100% free, guys. You're going to go to thechicfo.mykajabi.com/profit plan. It will help you organize your numbers, all right? Because once you've got the data organized, it's going to make it much easier to review it. And once you start reviewing it, I promise you the answers you've been searching for are going to jump off the page. So I hope you got some great pieces of information today that are going to help you make 2021 your most profitable year yet. I'll talk to you guys soon.